Hey guys, good morning. Happy New Year's Eve. It's Daryl here. It's bright and early, 6 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Happy New Year's Eve. All right, before I go to when a new day dawns, I start thinking about what's on my mind. What do I think is on the viewer's mind, you guys' mind? Because a lot of times I think we're probably on the same page, right? The same things get us excited, infuriate us, scare us. So today, I'm thinking what's on my mind. And honestly, again, I'm thinking about next Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, let me lay it out for you. I'm not a pessimist, but let me lay out what I keep picturing. Worst case scenario, all right? Now, mind you, Trump ran on this ticket that supposedly the left was going to burn America, rioting, blah, blah, blah. That group begins with A, ends with A. And the BLM supposedly were going to, against law and order and all that. Remember that. Now, as he encourages the very same thing for next Wednesday, as he pretty much instigates a whole situation in next Wednesday in Washington. Watch. All right. So let's start with the Mar-a-Lago gala that he and Melania are leaving, $1,000 a head. Trump lives for this New Year's Eve gala where he's on the red carpet, he's adulated, he plays, he holds court, and he's not going to be there. He and Melania are leaving to go back to Washington. Now, there's speculation that there might be some heat. It might be heating up with Iran, okay, because it's the 1-year anniversary of Soleimani being taken out on January 3rd. Supposedly, there's a couple bombers circling it over the Persian Gulf right now. Okay, so that scenario makes me nervous. The fact that Trump wants to appear presidential and maintain importance. And it worries me that he's going to instigate a situation with Iran that cannot be taken back, cannot be held back, and it would bloom into a World War III. That scares me, but that's not even where I'm going with this video. All right, so he comes back to Washington. All right. Tuesday, the runoff in Georgia. Now, I've been reading the polls, and a lot of conservatives, 55%, I read one article that said 55% of conservatives were planning on not voting in that election because they think it's rigged, fraud, blah, blah, blah. All right? So there's a good chance that both of the Republicans are going to lose in Georgia on Tuesday, and it'll be a 50-50 split in the Senate. Okay. Now picture if that happens. These very same Trump supporters that said they weren't going to vote because of fraud, blah, 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 are going to be enraged if those two Democrats win. Can you imagine what they're going to be saying? They're going to claim that they got screwed out of the election with Trump, and now the same thing's happening with the senators. And you can picture the boiling point, the pot getting hotter and hotter, and you can picture Trump stirring this, okay? He flies back to Washington. He's in Washington now, the grand finale. Wednesday in Washington, the electoral vote count. Now, Trump is still has his mindset that Pence could do anything about this, but Pence has, as we talked about before, Pence has absolutely no authority to overturn anything or anything, but Trump has his new boy, Josh Hawley, Junior Senator Josh Hawley, that's willing to stand up and make himself a spectacle to get some press. Any press is good press, right? That's what they say. So they're going to stand up and object. Now, that's not going to go anywhere, as we know, because the House would have to go along with it. They go back. I've already talked about what's going to happen here. They go back, the Senate goes back, the House goes back, they debate for 2 hours, but there's no way in hell the House is going to go with this. So nothing's going to come out of it. Now imagine everything's at a boiling point. Imagine if the two Republican senators lost. Now, the Trump base is already yelling, oh my God, we got screwed again. Trump's stirring that pot. All of his boys he told to stand back and stand by are all gathered in Washington, along with a whole slew of tinfoil hat wearing right-wing groups of this and that, who he told to gather next Wednesday. Come to Washington. It's going to be a wild time. Actually tweeted that. And now he's going to be in Washington to fire this all up. What do you think is going to happen in Washington next Wednesday? Especially if those two Republican senators in Georgia lose due to their own base not showing up, claiming there's fraud. So they're not going to go vote. When they lose, they're going to say, oh, it was fraud. What do you call it? A self-fulfilling prophecy? Anyway, it worries me. It worries me that when you corner an animal, they become more dangerous. As it gets closer and closer to January 20th, you can see, I mean, the narcissism is on such a display right now. It's amazing how Donald Trump cannot own the situation, how he absolutely refuses to see reality. And along with that, with his refusal, a lot of his base believe him because they always have. They believe everything he says. And you could see this all as it gets closer, just closer and closer to January 20th when Biden will be officially president. No ifs, ands, or buts. You could see the panic getting closer and closer on Trump's face. And I'm worried. I am truly worried what could come off next Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday with these two situations so close together. Things, God knows what's going to happen over in the Persian Gulf, and Trump at the helm and stirring the pot of all this, with all of his supporters supposedly gathering in Washington and him there to stir the pot Wednesday. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this new year starts off. I pray it's a better year than 2020, but we will see. All right, I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a good New Year's Eve.